the towering mountains loom closer. It's been 10 minutes with no radio contact, an eternity for controllers.
Pull up. Too low. Terrain.
We've lost contact.
The plane is now too low to be detected by radar.
One, 2, 4, 905, thank you.
Captain Christian Hecquet and First Officer Joel Cherubin are experienced pilots with over 12,000 hours of flying time between them. The flight is a short hop between Lyon in central France and the city of Strasbourg in the mountainous Alsace region. The crew is flying an Airbus A320, one of the most technologically advanced commercial airplanes in the world. Cockpit of the A320 is also very different from other planes. Instead of analog gauges, the pilots look mostly at digital displays. Even before takeoff, the pilots programmed the autopilot to land on a specific runway in Strasbourg. The captain initiates the landing sequence.
Flaps towards 2.
Flaps towards 2. Flaps at 2.
Gear down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to land in a few minutes.
Hecquet notices that the plane is traveling too fast, so he extends the speed brakes. They disrupt airflow over the wing, which helps create more drag to slow the plane.
We have to watch our descent.
As it circled the mountain, the plane inexplicably entered a dangerously steep and rapid descent. But before the crew can adjust their course, the A320 has flown into the side of a mountain. The crash is catastrophic. It's a cold winter's evening at Stapleton Airport in Denver, Colorado. Captain Stephen Silver and First Officer Ralph Harvey are just about ready for takeoff.
Hey, everybody seated?
Yep, everybody's in.
No good outside?
Walk around was all clear.
Trans-Colorado Flight 2286 is a short hop to Durango-La Plata County Airport in southern Colorado.
Listen, when we get to Durango, I'd like to get in the air again as quickly as possible.
Shouldn't be a problem. We won't need to refuel.
It's the crew's fourth flight of the day, and they're running late. Bad weather has put them 40 minutes behind schedule.
Trans-Colorado 2286, you are cleared for takeoff.
2286, clear for takeoff, thank you.
Captain Silver is in command. First Officer Harvey will operate the controls for this flight, leaving the captain free to handle radio calls.
Takeoff power.
100.
The captain keeps an eye on the airspeed as they accelerate for takeoff.
V1. And rotate.
The crew's day began in Denver. After 2 short hops to Riverton and Casper, Wyoming, they circled back to Denver. Now they're headed for Durango, a route that takes them over the southern Rocky Mountains. About 20 minutes from the airport, the captain and the first officer review the landing.
So we're still doing the straight into runway 20, okay?
Runway 20, sounds good.
Control, we'll plan on a DME to runway 20.
That's approved. Trans-Colorado 2286, cleared for runway 20 approach at Durango Airport.
Like many small airports in America, Durango does not have its own air traffic control. The controller is in Denver, more than 200 miles away.
Speed set. 1/4 flaps.
1/4 flaps.
The pilots work quickly to prepare for landing.
Gear down.
Gear down. 3 green.
Do you have the runway?
Something's wrong. The pilots can't see the runway.
Damn, we're too low. Pull out! No, 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 no! Hold on!
Of the 17 people on board, the crash has killed 9, including both pilots. Pakistan International Airlines Flight 268 is en route to Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. On the flight deck, Captain Iftikhar Janjua is in command. He's a former officer in the Pakistani Air Force who's now a senior pilot instructor with the airline. The first officer is Hassan Akhtar, a junior pilot with the airline with almost 1,500 hours flying the Airbus A300. Flight 268 leaves its cruising altitude as it begins the approach into Kathmandu. In 1992, Kathmandu Airport doesn't use radar to track its planes. Every movement, planned or otherwise, must be accurately reported by the flight crew. The mountains surrounding Kathmandu require pilots to make what's known as a stepped approach. Pilots must descend to a series of lower altitudes at certain distances from the airport.
Here it is. Watch my levels.
The details of the stepped approach are laid out on a chart for the pilots. The crew works its way through the steps towards Kathmandu, approaching from the south. They should be touching down in about 6 minutes.
Alpha Charlie Hotel, continue to taxiway number 2.
Pakistan 268 is at 10 miles.
Report your level.
We crossed out of 8,500. 200 now.
Roger. Clear for final. Report 4 miles, runway 02.
We'll call you at 4 miles, Pakistan 268. Clear for final, runway 02.
Runway 02.
Flight 268 is now less than 10 miles from the runway. Air traffic control waits for the flight crew's next position report. 3 minutes go by. Flight 268 should have reported that they've reached the next step by now.
Pakistan 268 Tower. Pakistan 268, this is Tower.
As the minutes tick by, air traffic controllers come to a horrifying realization. Flight 268 is missing somewhere in the Himalayas. It doesn't take much time for Kathmandu air traffic controllers to get word that PIA Flight 268 has crashed somewhere in the Himalayas. Within hours, the plane's wreckage is found on the side of a mountain. The flight was carrying more than 20 tons of fuel, and the plane is completely consumed by fire. All 167 people on board have died. For more than a minute, American Airlines Flight 965 has been turning into the mountains. Captain Tufore and First Officer Williams suddenly notice that their aircraft is taking them somewhere they don't want to go.
We're going out to...
Let's go right to Tallulah, first of all, okay?
Yeah, where are we headed?
17-7.
Captain Tufore is floundering in the pitch darkness.
What happened here?
If he can find the Tallulah waypoint, he can get his bearings. He switches to another computer system and enters the radio frequency for the Tallulah beacon.
Okay, I'm getting it. 17-7 just doesn't seem right on mine. I don't know why.
Left turn. So you want a left turn back around to ULQ?
Nah, hell no. Let's press on to...
Press on to where, though?
To Lua.
Hopelessly lost and less than 2 minutes from impact, Tafuri decides to press on with his doomed approach.
Let's go to Cali, first of all, okay? Come to the right now. Come to the right now.
The pilots don't know it, but when the plane veered off course, it crossed over the mountains. They're now in another valley, parallel to where they should be. The passengers are completely unaware that in less than 60 seconds, the aircraft, traveling at more than 210 miles an hour, is going to crash.
We're almost there, though.
Tallulah, I'm not getting for some reason. See, I can't... Okay, no.
I don't want Tallulah. Let's just go to the extended center line of...
Which is Roseau.
Roseau.
Well, why don't you just go direct to Roseau then, all right?
Okay, let's...
I'm gonna put that over to you.
They decide to give up on Tallulah and make straight for the airport. They don't realize that there is now a wall of mountains between them and Cali.
965 altitude.
965.
9,000 feet.
Roger.
Distance now.
The plane's ground proximity warning system is telling them they're about to crash.
965, this is Cali approach. Can you hear me?
Y ya no me contestó.
He didn't answer.
No me volvió a contestar.
He never answered again.
Easy does it. Easy does it. Nope.
I could feel that we were just violently just going up. And I felt like I was in a roller coaster ride or something. And the turbulence was absolutely horrible. And by that time, people were screaming, and everybody knew on the flight that something was very wrong.
Of the 163 aboard Flight 965, 159 were lost. Only 4 survived. All of the survivors were seated within 2 rows of one another, just above the wing and above huge girders that make the area the plane's strongest section. It's a sunny morning at Barcelona Airport in Spain.
After start checklist, anti-ice.
Anti-ice off.
Rudder trim.
Rudder trim is 0.
The crew of Germanwings Flight 9525 is preparing for departure.
Flight attendants, please take your seats for takeoff.
Captain Patrick Sondenheimer is a former Lufthansa first officer who recently transferred to Germanwings. First Officer Andreas Lubitz, who has been with the airline for just over a year, will handle the flying.
Cleared for takeoff. 07 right.
Germanwings 9525.
Take off thrust.
Just after 10 a.m., Germanwings Flight 9525 gets airborne. They're heading northeast over the Gulf of Lyon towards the French Alps. They should be in Dusseldorf in just over 2 hours. 27 minutes into the flight, the plane reaches its cruising altitude of 38,000 feet.
Marseille, Germanwings 9525.
On the flight level 380.
Air traffic control in Marseille tracks the plane as it crosses France. 4 minutes later, the controller in Marseille notices something odd.
Germanwings Marseille, confirm what cruising altitude you're cleared for.
Flight 9525 is descending without permission.
Germanwings, this is Marseille. Come in, please.
You've got a problem here. Germanwings unresponsive, descending rapidly.
The plane is dropping steadily. In just minutes, it's lost 10,000 feet. The control center is now on emergency mode.
Now approaching 25,000 feet.
The Airbus is hurtling downwards at maximum operating speed, an astonishing 350 knots.
German wings, come in. Lima Echo X-ray relay from Marseille. I need you to try and contact German wings 9525. What is their situation?
The plane has dropped below 7,000 feet. The towering mountains loom closer. It's been 10 minutes with no radio contact, an eternity for controllers.
Pull up. Too low. Terrain. We've lost contact.
The plane is now too low to be detected by radar.
Pull up. Too low.